Hi everyone, welcome back to the Automotive Logistics and Supply Chain Red Sofa here in Nashville at our Digital Strategies event. I'm so pleased to be joined with Ronald Kleijwegt, who's the CEO of Vinturas, a company specializing in interoperable software applications, including blockchain, which we're going to talk a bit about. Ron, interoperability has been a topic and an issue across the industry for a while. And as we've just been hearing at this event, one of the big priorities is to connect data and systems. It was a top priority in our survey, in fact. Why do you think this is becoming so much more important now compared to before?
I think because in the world of today, especially with COVID, the world is almost in a constant crisis. And I think where originally companies could run their supply chain by using a TMS or a visibility tool, they could still maybe see where their shipment was. But at the same time, they still then had to run the crisis by manual tools, Excel spreadsheets, emails, telephone, you name it. And if that's only a short percentage of your supply chain, it's doable, but now the large majority has become an issue. And that's where interoperability, meaning you connect the entire ecosystem and preferably then share information and data, then you can take control. But without, it becomes an ongoing issue. And
it is indeed an ongoing issue. What do you see as some of the barriers, the challenges to this interoperability across the automotive supply chain?
I would say, first of all, there is an understanding. I think what we see in the automotive industry, but maybe also in other industries, that they continue to look at existing technology. So they try a TMS, they look at another TMS and maybe another TMS, and the same with trying to use a visibility platform. And then they realize it doesn't work, or it may only create visibility for themselves, but not for the entire ecosystem. So you continue to have gaps in your supply chain, there's waste in the supply chain. It doesn't solve the problem. And our experience, we are a young company, but since the last few years, normally when we talk to operations, it was interesting to listen to the previous session, they are on our side immediately. They want to have it. This is exactly what we've been looking for. And then we start talking more, with all due respect to IT. Then, it takes some time to explain there is new technology which can solve the problem. And what we do most of the time is educating before, people may even be interested in taking the technology.
Absolutely. And how do you kind of compare automotive supply chain and logistics with other industries? In your career, you've worked in high tech and areas like that. Is it a higher level of challenge in this connectivity and interoperability, similar?
I would say, most of the time I spent in high-tech electronics, but because of our client base, we were dealing also with many other industries, from medical to pharma to automotive already at a time. And it's interesting that even if they had TMS and ERPs and other, let's say, functionality, they were still running their supply chain manually, right, on spreadsheets and everything else. So I think that's not particular to automotive. Right. I think we see differences between regions. What really was kind of, for me, very interesting, when I was working in high-tech electronics, we were sometimes losing shipments, right, pallets with, let's say, laptops and printers, or they got stolen. And now I've seen already many use cases where they simply, and it seems to be acceptable, that they lose complete finished cars, right? 3 cars, 5 cars, 10 cars, and somehow that's accepted. Doesn't mean they really lose them, but they are somewhere in transit, and one day they may find them. And that shows again that interoperability is so extremely important by connecting all parties and take control on your supply chain or your ecosystem.
So let's get into a little bit what Vinturas offers is a private blockchain network. So give us a sense of how accessible and connected this is, and how does an OEM or a stakeholder, logistics provider, etc., how do they benefit by being within this private network?
So just to clarify, so private blockchain is just technology. And we always have to explain private blockchain. It's good that you mentioned private blockchain, because we're not in public blockchain, which is more crypto and gaming. We're not even doing that. It's private blockchain, so our customer has the control on their blockchain, on their ecosystem. We don't even see the information, we don't even see the data, because our client has the key to the blockchain. It has a number of advantages, and in that respect, first of all, if you want to have a data-driven supply chain, it starts with connectivity. So connecting all the dots in your ecosystem, and that's what we call interoperability. And when you do that, you can really share information between parties. It doesn't have to go via you centrally. That's why it's called a decentralized network. You decide which parties can then share information in a very secure way. And then it becomes actionable data. And that is why, again, it's a kind of a unique solution.
And you know, it's interesting and the way that this is then shared, because, and we talked about it in one of the sessions earlier, mistrust of sharing information. Some suppliers are worried, if I share this information to my customer, might they hold it against me? How do you build trust in this sort of, is that an issue, and is that something you think private blockchain network can address?
I think it's a huge issue because people are nowadays, privately or business-wise, right, sharing, having data and information available makes it very vulnerable. I think former, or let's say old technology has worked against it in a way that TMS providers, some of them, not all of them, and also visibility providers, they have been collecting and mining data, and they're using that for other purposes, right, or monetizing it. And that's where it has become extremely sensitive. So what we see in a supply chain in general, in any industry, there is definitely a willingness for collaboration. There is a willingness to share information and data, but they are extremely skeptical and careful. And we can show that when you manage your actionable data in a closed private blockchain where everything is encrypted, any data and information you share is encrypted and is double encrypted in a encrypted database. And when any party, any trading partner in a supply chain has the control over their own data and information and knows which parties are actually receiving that encrypted and decrypted, then yeah, we have so far, we never had any pushback on any party we connect. No, because now there is a trust. That's extremely crucial.
Absolutely. So a lot of exciting things happening there, and I want to kind of conclude with you by asking a little bit more about Vinturas as a business. You know, we're here in Nashville at our event. You recently opened a US office. There's new business here. Tell us about your plans and expectation with your product here in North America.
Yeah, it's so we're a young company, right? We are this year we celebrated our 5th year anniversary, so it has been pretty cool. I think we have become more known since we started our marketing last year, because first we wanted to make sure that our product was working, so we have our first use cases successfully implemented. And what we see, it's very interesting, US is kind of my second home. I used to live here, and I'm still traveling here quite a bit. And I should say that the North American market, if it comes down to new technology, it is still the land of the entrepreneurs. They like to try out new things. We are dealing with European OEMs who are operating in the US, and the US entities are extremely excited and probably will go first before, let's say, the European or the Asian country. So yeah, US, we have a lot more demand in US even than in Europe right now, but it's a fascinating journey, and we're growing in a very controlled way, and we're looking forward.
Well, we're really looking forward to keeping up with that growth, and in fact, you know, we explore this topic, digitalization, in a deep way in Europe as well, also together with partners like Vinturas. But let's see where we're going with that. So Ron, I want to thank you so much for joining me here on the Red Sofa. Check out more on LinkedIn for highlights, both from what we talked about with Vinturas, from Ron's colleague Alexander Style, who will be on stage with us, and indeed more insight across our blog as well. So thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.